I know it has been a while, but I am always working on this project, even if it's just half an hour a day sometimes, or maybe I don't have time some days to work on it at all. In the past year I've slowly been testing out different methods of doing the character and have found an easy way to animate physics motion in Blender 3D using the wiggle options on the bones. So I've done away with the separate tail and ears as physics objects, and now the character is one solid mesh fully keyframed. The animations are not final, there's still a lot of work to do on just the animations I have right now. Not even to mention all the ones I still need to do. I also deleted the landscape and started from scratch since I found out how to turn it into chunks where they don't load if the player is too far from them, basically just like Minecraft, but the chunks are each separate areas like Tor's Farm, Merry Acres, and the Merrydale Bridge, etc. Having the landscape unrender is kind of a problem though, because I wanted the whole world to be loaded for some nice scenery, so I will probably use a low poly static mesh for long distance landscape views so there are no visible giant holes in the world. However, a result of redoing the character with no physics objects and the new landscape rendering, the performance was dramatically increased, so I can now have the vast somewhat dense forest around Merrydale and the surrounding areas. As for the nudity, I am not doing a separate character model for each armor set. Instead I use one character model and rig the armors with the same exact skeleton as the character. Doing this will allow me to set the animations to follow whatever animations the character is playing on any moment and copy it. I just have to make sure the weight paint on the armors are alright. That's what tells the skeleton what parts of the mesh to move when animating. I've done testing on a backup and got it working. That was pretty simple. These swords have been driving me crazy the last couple of weeks though. I just simply want to pick one up and be able to use it and drop it whenever I want and drop when I pick up another sword. I know, not like the original game, but it's mostly just for test purposes so I can swap between them without any problems. I want to get that solved before I move on to doing the attack animations. I'll have a render of all the sword shields and Tor's armors at the end with other renders and tests. Actually, sometimes when I would go to pick up a second sword to test if it would drop the first one, they would both be in his hand and they looked melded together and was kinda cool looking. Each area also now has its own music that fades between the different songs as you move into the area. That was a little thing I got done that makes it feel that much more complete. The foliage is another big thing that just takes a lot of time to do. Even though I can literally paint the trees into the world, I still try to get all the ones within the playable area as close to the same spot as the original one, so it's a lot of going back and forth between UE4 and PCSX2 just looking at and placing trees and flowers and whatever else. As for the destructible plants, they are all being redone, and those are some of the other renders at the end of the video. The consumables too. And now on to the biggest part of this update video. Once we get past this long winding road that just keeps going and seems to never end. Like seriously, this is a long road. Keep in mind while I'm running through here that this UE4 project was completely blank the first time I opened it up. I have single-handedly modeled 129 unique roadside cliff ledge models for all of this, and finally we arrive at the Merrydale Bridge, which is mostly complete.